I have something very important to show you. This is my son. I've only had him for about 3 days now. If anything were to happen to him, I'd delete my YouTube channel and kill all of you. I've partnered with Makeshift to have my very own bee plushie. It is going to be going live on the store very, very soon. You can find that link in the description, and it will be running for 3 weeks. During that 3-week period of time, that's when you can order this beautiful son of a bitch. And once that 3-week time period is over, it is over. It begins very soon, mid-October, and it will end in 3 weeks. You can find all the details down in the description. Get it while you can. This guy is so cool. Hello everybody, my name is Bricky, currently running from existence itself. Outer Wilds is a masterpiece of a game, and I do not use that term lightly. I did a review for the game a bit ago, and I said that it is one of the modern classics, one of the best sci-fi games ever made, and it is in my top 10 games of all time. When I'm an old man, dementia is not a curse, but a blessing, because then I get to play Outer Wilds for the first time again. So when the trailer dropped for Echoes of the Eye, the first and only DLC for Outer Wilds, I was more than hyped, but the trailer took on a little bit of a different feel. It's a bit more sinister. But as much as I really want to just jump into discussion of this game, because yes, this DLC is really good, I have to ask a favor of you. Outer Wilds is a game about exploration and discovery. Outer Wilds does not have progression, upgrades, or anything of that nature. It is entirely about what you know. So the moment you know it, the game is done. The moment you load up Outer Wilds, you could technically complete the game in 20 minutes. You just simply don't know how. So even small things like the footage I'm showing behind you can, in a sense, be a somewhat spoiler. This game is truly something magical and magnificent, and if you trust me, you will leave this video, go buy the game, beat the game, play the DLC, and then come back. In fact, Echoes of the Eye is as good, sometimes better, than the base game. So I would implore you to hop off and go play the DLC before watching the rest of this video. However, I understand that some of you are not so easily swayed, or, you know, money is a thing that exists in society. However, I am going to keep it relatively spoiler free, just because, well, there's a lot to see. Before you even enter the DLC, you have to discover it, which is the most Mobius Games thing out there. On the main planet, Timberhearth, you'll find a new exhibit in the museum that operates with a deep space satellite, taking pictures of the whole solar system. And this adds a new location on Timberhearth, a little radio tower. So naturally, you travel to the radio tower. And when you go there, you get a little recording, and then you see all these photos taken, as well as your boy Gabbro over there.
What's up, fuckers?
But one of these photos is a little off. You look at all the photos and you see, oh, there's Brittle Hollow, there's the Ember and Ash twins, there's Timber Hearth, there's Dark Bramble, all my homies hate Dark Bramble. But then on one of them, 40 degrees, you look at that and you can see all the planets, but there's this weird, like, half eclipse going over the sun. It's really bizarre. That's why Gabbro was sent out there, because it looks like there's a problem with the camera, so he went out there to go repair. But he didn't find any issues. So you travel your way all the way to the Deep Space Satellite, way out there in the depths of space, and then you look at the side, and it has its little degrees. So you wait till 40, obviously, and then you look at the sun. There it goes. Naturally, what do you want to do? Well, you're the exploring type, and you are in a time loop, so death means nothing. Get in your ship, go haul ass. And then, when you travel your way to that mini eclipse, you are introduced to your next play space of the DLC. And this construct, this very Halo-like construct, is dubbed the Stranger, and art direction is superb here. The Stranger has mountains and these rivers and these interesting wooden houses all over the place, and this new alien race has a very interesting, unique design to them. They have owl-style faces with big old deer lanterns, and they all wear this kind of Native American garb. In fact, a lot of this DLC can be based around old Native American and rural American combinations with a lot of American Gothic in it, especially with the paintings. And then you combine that with the sci-fi elements of being in a gigantic Halo ring, and it's just incredible seeing this alien species taking all this concepts from, you know, American times, but also still being alien. It has superb art direction. In fact, some of it does get a little creepy. These paintings and pictures are rather unnerving. And honestly, American Gothic is not the most pretty thing in the world either. Rural America, like, hell, Courage the Cowardly Dog, for example, that kind of setting can be pretty weird. So your objective is, well, it's an obvious one. Who are these people? Why are they here? And why do they have a gigantic Halo ring with a damn cloaking device on it? See, in the base game, most of your discovery came from traveling through different kinds of planets and reading the Nomai's text. This time around, you're spending a majority of your time in the Stranger, but instead of reading, because you can't understand their language, you get slide reels. These picked reels are normally used as a way to tell you how to do your next step, because it's almost like they're recording the steps that they go through when they, you know, travel in their Stranger. However, a lot of these reels are accompanied by some pretty creepy music. And a lot of the areas are completely burnt out. Wondering, were they burnt out because this place has been here for so long, or were they burnt out on purpose? I think I prefer this method of storytelling far more than the text-based one, mainly because there was a lot of reading in the base game, but also, maybe I'm more of a visual person. I think the accompanying art direction that goes with creating all these pictures, and also the weird creepy sound in the background as well, and also their ability to withhold information gives so much more of an intrigue to it. I'm seeing all these things from these reels, but why is this one burnt out? Now, the time loop is still very much a thing in this DLC. In the base game, you had a 22-minute time loop, and whenever you would die, it would reset you to the first day, Groundhog Day style, or if the 22 minutes ran out. It's the exact same thing in Echoes of the Eye, except they made it so the Stranger also functions with that time frame. And in fact, there are some things that you can only get done before a certain event happens, or possibly even after. This thing has been here a while, and it is not fully stable. You'll realize I need to get something done right now, right here, before something happens on the Stranger. Or I need to wait for that thing to happen, because then it'll open up a new area perhaps, and then I can work on the thing I was working on last time. Now, let's talk light and dark. Light plays a huge factor in this DLC, and it actually contributes to some of the horror elements that are part of this game. Outer Wilds is a masterclass at teaching the player how to do things without a word of dialogue. Let me use an example from the base game. In Brittle Hollow, there is a distress beacon and an escape pod. So naturally, you go to distress beacon using your signal scope. When you find it, you'll want to enter the escape pod, go in there, read your stuff, yada yada. But at the bottom, there is an escape hatch. When you open the escape hatch, this happens. That right there told you 4 separate things. 1, it pointed directly in the direction it wants you to go. 2, it shows that the Nomai built an under-the-surface city down there, as you can see the remnants of it. 3, the door specifically lands on the stairs and breaks it, giving you the warning that if you stand on the stairs for too long, you'll break them as well, so be cautious. And 4, oh my good fucking god, there's a black hole down there. Don't fall. You learned all of that by opening a goddamn door. Echoes does the exact same thing of teaching you the mechanics of the game without outwardly telling you. For example, when you enter the Stranger for the first time, you will go ahead and park your ship in one of their hangars. And when you get out, you'll go into this room. As you look around the room, you notice the center part is really, really dark. So naturally, you hit your flashlight on it. And when you do, the little turquoise balls on it light up and it starts moving, allowing you to go through the doors and enter the Stranger. So it's taught you that light is 1, a big important factor of this DLC, and 2, light reacts with these turquoise orbs. The raft you get on immediately afterwards, placing your light on it will have it be pushed in certain directions. And as time goes on, light will keep on playing a factor. Picked reels to see all the new stuff needs a lantern to shine. So you need to find the light. Light is a huge part of this DLC, both in its use and in its absence.
This isn't your average everyday darkness. This is advanced darkness.
Hell, even the presentation has been factored in. When you first enter the Stranger, you'll be coming in from the deep space satellite way out there. So when you enter the Stranger, it immediately gives you the door that you have to use and then a wonderful raft in a dark room that drops down and really gives you the sense of awe as you look out and you see this giant halo ring and all this stuff, and the music starts to swell up, and it is wonderful, a great intro. However, when you are constantly going back to the Stranger over and over again, the game, 1, allows you to track its location via your shipboard computer, so you can just go to it and you don't have to use the satellite anymore. But 2, because you went from the satellite way in the back, when you come back into it from the ground of Timber Hearth, you're actually entering the other side of the Stranger. So you're entering a different hangar. And the other hangar is actually far more effective from a practical standpoint. You're out there, not forced into a raft segment. There's one if you'd like it. There's some items that I won't talk about that are placed in certain areas to make things a lot easier for you. The first spot is all about the awe and the arrival of this DLC. But everything past that is all about the function, because they know it's time for you to get working. This will be kept in mind consistently. They know you're going to be doing loop after loop after loop of this DLC. And because of that, they need to make sure that you have a good time being able to grab what you need and do what you need. Because if you don't, well, it's going to become a bit of a pain in the butt. I'm going to talk about the other part of the DLC now. If you didn't heed my warning until now, this is your last chance, because while I'm still keeping most spoilers to a minimum, this is a big part. The ring isn't the only place you explore in this game. Through means I won't reveal, you can find your way into the alien's homeworld. And in that homeworld, there are many places to explore. A lodge, the bayou, a damn big old tower and congregation area. But the difference here is that you are not alone. Darkness is just as important as light in this DLC. For these segments, the darkness will become incredibly powerful. In fact, so strong that I think it's coded in a particular way where changing your settings won't help you. I tried adjusting my brightness and gamma, things that would normally work in a game like Outlast. However, in this game, no matter how you adjust that, it doesn't actually make a difference in what you can see. It's like the game has been coded so that after a certain point, your vision is completely removed. So this darkness is truly oppressive, and you are stuck alone with your little light trying to make your way around this area. Now, there is an enemy AI, so to speak, and it isn't particularly the greatest. That could either be intentional or not. It probably is intentional. This is more of an exploration game than a mechanics game. However, if there's any downside to this DLC, I would say that the AI is a little bit iffy here and there. That's not really the point either. They're more there as a scare factor and as an obstacle to impede your progress that you need to get around. Getting around them isn't particularly difficult. However, it does lead to some pretty horrifying frights. Oh my god! However, none of these frights are jump scares, or at least they're never intended to be jump scares. They are entirely natural, and if there were any jump scares, they aren't the cheap kind of jump scares. They're not the ones where a giant loud clang happens the moment something scary happens, or your camera is grabbed and pulled around somewhere. None of that. This is respectful, quiet fear. And as someone who is a grade A bitch, it is very effective. Going back and forth between their home planet and the stranger is a major part of this DLC, and it is shocking, purely shocking, how many discoveries are there hidden right in front of your eyes and you had no idea. In fact, the discoveries of Echoes are better than the discoveries you make of the base game, because there is that feeling that I got when I played Outer Wilds, when I learned something and I said, oh my god, so that's how that works. It's been like this the whole time. But that feeling is amplified to 10 out of 10 in Echoes. The things you discover, the excitement, the dopamine drip of knowledge is insane in this DLC. So much stuff right there in front of you the entire time. You could have done it at any point in time, you just didn't know. The DLC even incorporates red herrings into it. And you know what? It doesn't feel cheap. It feels realized, intelligent, and well thought out. This game is a masterclass at teaching the player things without telling them, and while constantly not holding the player's hand and respecting their time while still not being overly difficult. Everything feels earned. It all feels worth it, and I didn't even mention the soundtrack yet. Oh my god, the soundtrack. Thing is that do I have more to talk about with Outer Wilds? Yes. Is there more I want to discuss? Yes. Do I want to talk about those discoveries, those big discoveries that I found out that make me want to play this game over and over and beat my head with a club so I can replay it for the first time? Yes. But I shouldn't. No matter what I say, some of you who didn't play the game are still watching. Money, boredom, just don't really care about these kinds of games, whatever the reason. But I'm hoping, oh, am I hoping, that you eventually change your mind. You go out there, you experience this game, and when you do, you'll look at this video and you'll say to yourself, wow, I'm really happy he didn't go ahead and spoil so much of the title. This game is really best played by yourself on your own and truly with a blind view. I have a full playthrough of it on my second channel. I will link that in the description. Do not watch that unless you've already played the game. I'm warning you. However, if you want to see all my genuine reactions to all things that happen, the discoveries, it's all there, or at least it's being uploaded at the current moment. This is the best game I've played this year. This is my favorite game of the year, and it's not even a full game, it's a DLC. A game made by this indie studio has more care, more passion, more skill, more craftsmanship than anything I have played this year so far. Am I sad this is the only bit of Outer Wilds I'm gonna get, just this one DLC? Yes. Am I sad that it's not gonna be milked like a cow? No. It will remain a timeless classic, and I'm hoping in a year, 2, 5 years, people will come back to this game and look at this Bricky guy and say, damn, he was right. I didn't believe him in 2021 when he wouldn't shut the fuck up about Outer Wilds. And now, man, it was an underrated masterpiece. Fuck you. I said it was amazing. It's always been amazing. Play the damn game. Thank you all for watching this video. Buy the Bee plush. He's adorable, squishy, and he's only for 3 weeks. Like, definitely get him. He's so much fun. I love him. My Patreon questions either involved something about asking me to rate their cock or when are we getting Bee plushies? Short, shriveled, and to the left.